I thought I would just stop by for a few minutes. I have a 10 o'clock appointment. But having regard to matters that seem to have captured extensively the public's attention, which it rightfully should, the matter of constitutional reform and Jamaica becoming a republic, and the opposition indicating that they will not sign the CRC report, I believe it is important for me to even make a few statements on the matter. I have deliberately, during the entire course of this action, refrained from making any statements lest it be construed politically and used as an excuse to derail the process. But I believe that there should be some context added to the public conversation. It is not so long ago that Jamaica entered into celebrations for its 60th year of independence. Coming out of this, there were many calls for Jamaica to proceed on the path of becoming a republic. Calls made by prominent members of the opposition as well as other prominent members of the society. As Prime Minister, at the time of Jamaica's celebration of its 60th year, it found favor with my own thinking that this should be the case. We contemplated the work that was already undertaken some 25 or 26 years ago, very detailed, extensive work, but by the passage of time, dated. There might be a different point of view, a different perspective with the current generations. And therefore, we thought it best to put in place a review committee. We named the committee. You will recall as well that the leader of the opposition took a different view. His view was that the work of the committee was sufficient. We could have proceeded on it without, that is the parliamentary committee that worked before, without putting in place a new committee to review. That was the view. We considered his perspective and thought that so much has changed since the work that was done by the parliamentary committee over 25 years ago, that it really should be refreshed. New perspectives ought to be brought in, and therefore we put together the review committee. You will also recall that he declined to name the members to the review commission. Declined and delayed for several months. We ended up having a meeting under the auspices of the Vale Royal talks. I thought those were good meetings, and we came to an understanding that the process would be a phased process, that we would move on the matters on which we agreed, which would be the Jamaica becoming a republic, and the other matters that were a little bit more complex, on which consensus ought to be fully realized, that those would come in the second phase of the process. As a result of that meeting, that is the Vale Royal talks, the leader of the opposition agreed to name members to the CRC. And as a result of that, we moved forward with the review. So we had I would say, reasonable expectation that we are proceeding in good faith. The second issue raised from the appointment of the CRC was the breadth and depth of consultations. And you would recall that there were some issues about the membership, and we reviewed that, and we extended the process of consultation to include island-wide consultation and specific interest group consultation. So my own view on it is that the CRC, the Constitutional Reform Committee, Review Committee, they have done quite an extensive job in conducting the review and taking into account the opinions and views that are widespread in the country. At this juncture, I would like to thank the members of the CRC for the work that they have put in. I happen to know that many of them would have sacrificed their own private endeavors and affairs in order to pursue this matter because it is of such grave national importance. And therefore, I would like to thank them all for their time and effort that they have spent. So, my initial assessment of the response of the opposition is that I am disappointed, but I am not surprised. I'm not surprised that they would have tried to find every way out of seeing this process through to its rightful conclusion. I would like to say to the Jamaican people that the efforts that the government has made is not in vain, that we will continue to pursue consensus, because the truth is that you cannot disturb the constitutional and governance architecture of the country without consensus. That is the reality. And consensus takes time, and it takes effort. So I speak to you today as Prime Minister of the country, not as leader of a political party seeking power, but as someone who is genuinely interested in the advance of our country. And so I want to assure Jamaicans that the process continues. We are in a certain season described by others as silly. I tend to sometimes agree. But we will get over it, and Jamaica will evolve into its rightful form, constitutionally, governance, in terms of our economic independence, and socially. The journey continues. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Closing out for now, this is One Avenue News. Avenue for your news, views, reviews, and much more. New spot on the block where we chat. Looking forward to meet you in the comment section. So flick the subscription button, turn on notification bell. Let's journey together. And please remember, we need solution, not confusion. United we win, my people. Art of love.